recording good. Okay. Okay. It's recording. Fine. Today's session, I am so happy to introduce Dr. Devan, who's a very big mentor, a motivator, a guide, a friend, a philosopher for me, especially for me. And at any times when I am into trouble, the only person standing next to me, next to my heart is Dr. Devan. Not only for me, for many of you.
Please use some negative words also.
Yes. Notorious also sometimes. Okay, right now he is retired, but still he has been especially taken on appointment in AJ Institute of Medical Science. He was previously as an HOD for ENT department. He's a professor, and right now he is a professor over there in this thing. I have really nothing much to say negative about doctor, but sometimes I'll feel jealous when too many ladies are around him. So that is one thing I have to tell. And today's session is something where Dr. Devan has personally researched, personally handled many cases. He's also a specialist for NLP therapy, where when science is not working, spiritualism start working. So the doctor may be specialized in ENT, but actually he's overall a master for human body, human mind, mankind, and for humanity. And most of the time when I say, doctor, I'm referring you this case, he say, what is my fees? My fees is 10,000, my fees is 25,000. And when the patient really goes, he ends up only with one dairy milk chocolate. So he's such a kind of doctor with a lot of healing touch. Especially when I go to him and I find, I have some problem, I'll just think I should speak to Dr. Devan. My 25% problem goes. But when I go really speak to him, doctor, this thing happened, my 90% of my problem is gone. He did nothing, just he heard me. I really have to tell this. There was one patient from Assam where I was bringing, and he was such an assistant for me online, like 48 hours. 48 hours. I called him at midnight, 1:30, 2:30, because when we started from Assam, it was a patient. When we reached Patna, the patient died, and it was really a kind of nightmare for me, traveling all the way from Assam to Patna in an ambulance. Every minute, doctor, this is the thing. What should I do? What should I do? So he's such a kind of guide. Not only he have to be in front of him, even he's not there midnight. Even that time, he just say, okay, say hello. One ring, he just picks up the phone. Not that, we are in deep sleep. Hello, what is it? No, you can see that power in his voice. So I have very great experience, and I think I utilize his services, his talks, his suggestions every minute of my life. Not only me, my entire family, my patients, my clients, and my friends. All of them, they all know Dr. Devan. So he's one such encyclopedia of what I can tell related to mankind, human body, whether it is your head, whether it is your nose, whether it is any part of your body or any other kind of thing. So the moment when I said, doctor, can you please, he said, so easily, he said, yeah, it is like a pleasure for me. So, doctor, on behalf of all my teachers, I thank you from bottom of my heart for accepting this and addressing my teachers with today's session. And this session also was suggested that we will take up these two sessions. So please concentrate. This will be a session, two sessions doctor has divided. If you have any questions, even personal questions, okay, you can speak to him. If there is any questions, please prepare your questions before he ends the session. It is related to your mental health. It is related to the fundamental things for your mental health, and also about the teachings. Okay, what exactly, where exactly you're lacking. If you have any such question, please prepare your questions right now. I call upon Dr. Devan to please take over.
Thank you so much, Ruxana ma'am. I'm deeply touched by your words. Now, three things will happen at the end of my talk. Number one, I will convert all of them into my lifetime ardent fans.
Yes. I
Number
know that.
Number two, I will open a window to their minds to an exciting future that is emerging. And number three, their lives will so transform that they will no longer be a potential business client for doctors. Doctors will not be able to make any money from them because I'm opening the gateway to health, which is now emerging as a major science at the cutting edge of knowledge. So I will cut off at about 10 minutes before so that anybody, it will be an open forum session so anybody can ask questions.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
right? Now, may I start my first presentation, please? Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir.
And is my screen clear, please?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
So, is my screen clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, let me make a few things very clear. Number one, teachers constitute the central pillar of the society. Wherever, whoever comes to whatever level, who governs and guides them? The teachers. It is to teachers that our gratitude should flow strong. And it is a teacher's health that should be the fundamental primary outlook of the society in general. And that is something in the outset I will focus on. These are essential, crucial factors. This is at the edge of knowledge. It is yet to emerge in mainstream science. And perhaps by the time it comes into textbook and routine treatment, maybe it'll take another 50 to 100 years, I suppose. So please pay very minute attention because I see a whole lot of things go wrong. And please take some notes down so that later on you'll be at liberty to ask me questions. By the time in about 10 minutes up front, I will cut short. So what are the things? I repeat again, teachers are God sent by the universe divinity to planet Earth to nurture humanity to levels of Now, what is it about well, as you know, the large part of the teaching community, to a large extent, we are sort of leading sedentary lives. I remember many years back in my home when we were youngsters, the amount of workload that the women folk had to do early morning, they had to pull water from Bavi, then at about 11 o'clock, beat the cloth, and then at about 12 o'clock, grind this thing, and evening and pound the rice mill. Maybe if that is about 100 units of energy output, today that energy output per human body is hardly 1 unit, maybe just a pressing of a switch. Today it has come to such a level that even the press of the switch is not there. I just talk to my whatever, and I talk to it, and then and machines respond. We have come to that level. So the thing about the human body is we have lost the focus on and loss of energy, and therefore weight gradually starts accumulating. Now, isn't that true for students? Like in my case, I come from a restricted, financially difficult background. My father was a salaried employee. Focus on marks was my only way forward. Day and night, I had to study because every minute lost is a minute lost. I don't know how much of that focus is there nowadays in students because it's a different world. But those days, day and night studies, no focus on sports and physical activity and everything. And as a consequence of that laxity, I grew grotesquely obese and it became like this. And I see quite a number of teachers, because they are so much into a sedentary lifestyle from the home, from throughout the day in the class and all that, gradually they are putting on weight. What is the problem now? 3, 4 things can happen. Number one, as a consequence of weight, increase of weight, there can be pressure and later backache, knee joint pain, and then as a consequence, blood pressure, obesity, sugar, and a whole lot of things. We are not designed to be obese. We are designed to be slim and trim. Our lifestyle factor has gone into such a mode so that I ask people,
साइड का निकल गया वो देखो ना जरा
I'll just mute all the mics. Is there any way I can mute, yeah. So that now as a consequence, therefore, I became grotesquely obese. Now I find quite a number of teachers are a little on the heavier side, and we should. What I ask my students from a medical school point of view, I ask students, Animal Planet, Discovery, National Geographic, in the wild, do you find any animal to be a little obese or extra weight? No, nature's design is such that if you live by the laws of nature, we will be slim and trim. But today we are breaking all these rules and boundaries, and we are grotesquely putting on weight, leading to a whole lot of trouble. I was grotesquely obese. Look at me, there 110 kilos. But then I tried going to a gym and walking and diet, nothing worked. It is now a new emerging science. Who discovered it? From the Salk Institute, which is the foremost center for human biology. And from there, the Circadian Lab, they discovered there's only one way. What is done today? They will chop off the stomach and do what is called bariatric surgery. They'll put a sleeve around the stomach and make you eat less. They'll put a tube in your tummy and suck out the fat. That's called suction lipectomy. No, all that is, all they know how much 5-6 lakhs they will charge. That is not the way. Today, we know there's a new science emerging, and ultimately having suffered high BP, high sugar, and a whole lot of other medical problems because of my obesity, I strictly am incorporated that new science that is coming. And about 5 months' time, about 22 kilos disappeared, and here I am. You see, no dieting, no exercise. So in nature, that's how it is. Nature, all animals are slim and trim because they follow a specific science. Of course, what is it? Something later, because it takes too much of a time to discuss. So I need to inform teachers, listen, don't suffer like that. Now there is a newfangled diet of thing called Ozempic and Wegovy, injections that will very powerful side effects, and so many rubbish is happening, and people are having terrible side effects. No, don't do all that. There's a natural way you can burn off fat, be slim and trim, and be healthy and happy. So therefore, I urge all of you, if you're a little overweight, even 10% overweight, what is overweight? It is not muscle, it is fat. Fat will deposit in the brain and cause a stroke, which I had. I had a terrible stroke and I was completely paralyzed on one side. It can go and block the heart. There are tons of people having a heart block. It can block the kidney and cause high blood pressure. It can go block the pancreas and cause diabetes. All that fat can be burnt off, and completely you can revert back to normalcy without any drugs. I had high BP, I had high sugar, I had a stroke also. And I thought my mother used to take insulin for the 20 years of her life. Now I can't be suffering like that. So I looked at the science that was emerging, strictly followed it. Now I am sugar free and drug free. No sugar, no BP, and 22 kilos also disappeared. So if you're, many of you will be on drugs, and when I ask, many teachers are on diabetic and hypertension and all that. No, come out of all that. Be naturally and normally healthy. We put up a cancer hospital. Our chairman asked me, we put up a cancer hospital just so that we can start a postgraduate studies in cancer. But then looking at the flood of patients coming in nowadays, it is sort of demeaning, and we really feel so sad. Tons of patients are suffering from cancer. There are 5 cancer hospitals in Mangalore. Why do we want to invest in a cancer? It costs about 30-40 crores to invest in a cancer hospital, and that will generate about 2-3 crores a year, I suppose. But why do we do all that? Why so many cancers? When I was young, 3rd, 4th standard and all that, where was cancer? It all hardly never existed. Today, everywhere there is cancer. I really wonder, when my chairman asked me why so many cancers nowadays, I never nearly knew the answer. But today the science is very clear. What is the only thing, thousands of years, what protected us from developing? Every minute, every day, there's a cancer emerging, and something is going and killing that cancer and getting rid of it. Today we don't have that what essential ingredient. Thousands of years that has protected us. Today it is not there to protect us. What is it? Sunlight. And as a consequence of sunlight, what do you get? Vitamin D. If I check everybody's vitamin D level in the blood, it will be at rock bottom. It will be at about 18, 20. And it is, vitamin D absolutely will protect you from a developing cancer. How much should a vitamin D level be? You see, vitamin D deficiency has found to be associated with a variety of cancers. If you are low in vitamin D, you are allowing a cancer which has come to develop and flourish. That is how bad it is. Will anybody tell you this? No, you will never know. By the time you know it, another half a century will go. Many of the things which are discovered half a century back, it is still not coming to mainstream science. So please know very clearly, check your vitamin D level. The normal they say should be about 40 nanogram per deciliter. No, I disagree. That is at the borderline of normalcy. What should the normal vitamin D level be? The normal vitamin D level should be 80 nanogram per deciliter. Will anybody have it unless you are working about half an hour? No, it is so fantastic. We went for a trip to China, and from the top of a hotel, we could look at a school below. And at about 8 o'clock, no, sorry, about 7 o'clock, the entire parents and children all came in. 2 hours from 7, 8, 9 till 9, they were all having a good academic session. At 9 o'clock, the entire school came out, including the teachers, had a good sunlight drill in the sunlight. Half an hour, and then they went in. Half an hour of minimum, half an hour of sunlight is required. How much of sunlight do you get? Almost nil. From the house, you get into the car, get into the bus, get into the school. Maybe 5 minutes of sunlight, which is absolutely inadequate. And on top of that, we clothe ourselves and all that. We are absolutely deficient. So therefore, you are vulnerable in a variety of ways, especially cancer. So therefore, vitamin D is the only thing, major thing that protects you. Make sure once in a way, check your vitamin D and make sure it is 80, not like what textbook says 40, it should be 80 nanogram per deciliter. And if you're deficient and if you're not having the time for about half an hour, who has the time to sit for half an hour in sunlight nowadays? So if that is so, you need to take Devion. Devion, there are many drugs there. Devion is a good company. 60,000 units, it comes in one tablet to be taken once a week and 20 tablets a year. That's all that is to it. If you take 20 tablets a year, once a week for 20 tablets a year, then your vitamin D level will be normal. At the end of 20 tablets, check your vitamin D status. And if it is around 80 nanogram per deciliter, enough. It can go up to 100, 120, but 80 is adequate. If you don't do that, in a car, petrol, water, filter, oil, grease, all that we check. For the human body, there are some doctors advising against checkup and they make a mockery of checkup. No, you have to check up and find out. Unless you check up, how will you know? And recently, my children came from Europe because there the sunlight is so low. And when I check their vitamin D, it's about 8 or 10. It is shocking. And there they don't even have a system of monitoring and making sure. So therefore, please check your vitamin D. If it is low, make sure, because it is so sad when a teacher, a lady teachers, they develop a breast cancer or a uterine cancer, and so many of them. It's so sad when teachers should be the one who's taking care of us. And but ultimately, because their health is neglected, when they suffer, believe me, today's world is very cruel. Cry and we cry alone. So don't do that. What is the best gift? What is the greatest wealth we can have? It is health. So make sure your vitamin D is at 80 nanogram per deciliter, 20 times a year. That will keep you reasonably perfectly in good health. And apart from that, this is something that in America, any lady after 40 years, but by standard requirement, they do what is called a bone mineral density. The bone, your entire framework is the bones. And for that, the bone, we require calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, ascorbate. Do we check all that? But we hardly do anything. There's nothing called unless we go specifically ask for, nobody does a bone mineral density. But in America, every year, every lady should do a bone mineral density and then take the required minerals. And it includes manganese, magnesium, boron, silicon, all the ultra trace micronutrient minerals which earlier we got from thairi, more, rasam, sambar, padaloke, cheere, beans, pairu, all that is got. I simply, when I go to a hotel, I see what people are eating. They will be eating some ghee rice and then some curry. Or, today's dietary pattern, We are waiting for disease to be invited in. 7 medical colleges, the highest density of medical colleges in the world, I must say. To run a medical college, we must have about 1,000 beds, which means 7,000 beds full of patients. What does it say about the society's health? It only reflects, we don't have a national health policy to ensure that health is the fundamental process by which we should be focusing on. We don't have that. A national health policy to ensure people are healthy. So everybody, everywhere people are sick. So make sure that you take care and good care, because ultimately when you're like, I was bedridden with a stroke I had, and I was bedridden. Only when you're bedridden, you'll know the true face of people. Wonderful, great, genuine people, divine people, some Madam and few others who are with me, helped me survive this terrible difficulty that I went through. So that's about vitamin D. Now, and now before a few other things, what is a major thing that affects teachers? So many teachers. I run a center in Kannur also in Kerala. We have a small clinic, and after my stroke, I shut it down. But what is a major thing teachers suffer from? Voice difficulties. And who are the teachers? At the lower level, kindergarten level, they have to scream so much and put so much into their voice, and ultimately they have what is called a teacher's screaming nodule. It's called teachers nodule. They'll develop a small nodule, and eventually they'll say, "Oh my God, it's dangerous to have that," and then they'll say we have to operate, and all sorts of mess. No, why this nodule happens and a teacher's nodule happens? Because your speaking voice is at a higher pitch, especially when you scream to children, kindergarten children, first and second children, when you scream at a higher pitch, you don't like an army general deepen your voice and talk in a deeper tone. You tend to scream at a higher pitch. So there is a specific voice exercise I have developed. I'll send the link to Ruxana Madam exactly how to do that. Do that just once a day. That will vastly relax your vocal cords and ensure that you do not have the vocal strain, and make sure you speak within the normal required vocal range. Now, if you do that to a large extent, your entire teaching career, you will have a normal voice. If you don't do that, I've had tons of teachers come in, and eventually they develop a terrible teacher's nodule, and all sorts of things are going wrong. So, therefore, please do that one exercise that I'll teach you later on. How long does it take? Just 1 minute, maybe about 10 seconds. But if you do that, I'll show you some of the exercises that you're supposed to do. If you do that, certain things you have to do. Look at animals. Who teaches a dog how to stretch? They will have a nice, good stretch, and then look at you and wag its tail. Because see, I know my knowledge, and I know I've come with all that knowledge built into it. And they have a good stretch. Do we do that stretch? No, we don't do that. We are lazy people. So find one exercise, taking about 10-15 seconds for your voice. Please do every day and maintain your voice's integrity. Back to a large extent, teachers are sitting and slouching and crouching forward, and ultimately the main strain is on the lower back. And many teachers I've seen have a low backache and strain and pain, and we go to a whole lot of physiotherapy, orthopedic, this and that, and nothing really happens. And you continue to suffer, then you'll wear a back belt and various things happen. No, this one exercise, because earlier, you please understand, as humans, when we developed from monkeys, they were quadrupedal, walking on all fours. Later, when we became bipedal, the extra strain happened to happen on the lower back, and then the whole of the strain started happening there. And how much a back. So please do this one exercise. Lie down flat on your back. These are things nobody will teach you. In the morning, when you get up, lie down on your back like this. Keep your leg flexed like this on the bed. How long have you? After 1 second, you can't spare 1 second for your back. Oh, no. You better take care of your health. So do this. After lying down like this, just raise your lower back like that. You see? Just hold it. How long? 1 second. Maybe another couple of, just raise it. Count to 1, 2, 3. Enough. When you do that, the entire lower back is relaxed, and you see how nice and comfortable you'll be throughout the day. But this is something you don't do, and sit throughout the day in a chair and then slouch forward and tons of books to correct and all sorts of things. And later you start developing. I've had enough teachers come to with terrible low back pain, and it takes little time and effort and exercise to bring it back normally. Before all that happens, this 1 second exercise for the lower back, please do. Calcium. Calcium is the backbone of health. Why do I say that? What is the strongest alkali mineral in the world is cesium. What is the next one? Calcium. Calcium makes your body alkaline. Now you look at areas in the world where calcium is rich and the water is rich in calcium. When the water is highly alkaline, there is no cancer. A cancer, please realize, is an alien being and it requires an acidic medium to survive. A cancer, I repeat, is a being. It's got a brain of its own, and it requires for it to survive. It will make the surroundings acidic. For a simple cursory idea, I said, let us do a small study. I looked at only the pH saliva of cancer patients in my ward, and I was shocked to find out all 198 cancer patients were all acidic. You pay 7,000, 8,000 rupees and go to a corporate hospital, do a complete doctor and the body checkup on the full check. Full checkup, okay, but do we test for pH of saliva costing 50 paisa? We don't do that. And when you check, to a shocking horror, some of you will have an acidic saliva because you have been only having an acidic meal, and you have Pepsi and cola and non-vegetarian, all sorts of acidic foods. And when your body is acidic, that is the time that the cancer will say, oh, so nice it is, like, so nice it, I find it so nice. And the moment a cancer happens, it will just flood and flourish in your body. So can we apply it? Yes, one patient came to me, and good gentleman, he said, doctor, sort of a small little lump, and when I touched, this feeling of touch today in science, it is disappearing. It is so sad, things are like this when students say, no, well, lump, we'll do a CT scan, MRI scan, PET scan. Just touch and feel. If when I touch, it was a little hard, so I said, let us take a needle biopsy. It was an advanced grade 4 spread tumor cancer across the body. It is already spread. Poor man, I said, so he said, so enough, I want to die. Chemotherapy and surgery, it's all beyond me. And saying, I want to die. But then this knowledge that a cancer cannot survive in an alkali medium was just emerging. So anyhow, you have decided to die. So let's have a chance. So we sent him to Manipal, and there's a separate Ayurvedic division where what they did was they made his body alkaline. In detail, we'll discuss that later for those who are interested. And they made his body alkaline. The moment it was made alkaline, the entire spread cancer completely shrank and disappeared, completely disappeared. And for about 10 years he lived. After that, of course, I lost track of him. Wonderful gentleman. You see, the essence of knowledge is knowing it to apply it. So come back again. Calcium is required. How much of calcium do you get nowadays? Do you drink a glass of milk every day? To absorb that milk, are you having enough sunlight? No, you're not doing all that. How much should a calcium be? Should be about 8.5 to 10.2 milligrams. Now, about teachers, let me tell you, especially ladies, by the time you're menopause, the hormonal control is lost. If I check the urine of menopausal ladies, it will be flooded with calcium. The bone is melting and completely leaking calcium in the urine. Did you know that? So the moment menopause starts, you must take 1 tablet of calcium every day for the rest of your life. Are you doing that? You're not doing that. Will a doctor advise you? No, we don't do all the way. Preventive medicine is a small little subject. I think in the 3rd year we study and forget about it. Is preventive medicine the major hallmark of Indian medical scenario? No, we don't do all that. So please know every day 1 calcium tablet with vitamin D after menopause you have to take, because if you have 1 or 2 or 3 children, much of your calcium from your bones you are gifting it to your child, because the mother will sacrifice anything for the child. Large amount of calcium for the child. If a child has required to have good bones, no, by the time the child is born, the mother will have backache, knee pain, joint pain, and a whole lot of suffering. Which do we ever have a concern? No, no. Therefore, every day 1 calcium tablet, please take. And every day, especially about the lady part of the, every day menstrual cycle every month causes a blood loss. What happens? I don't know why God, I'm not religious or political, I try to avoid, but God designed a religion. Why did God design the human female body in such a way? Every month she'll have menstrual loss, and therefore she will lose iron. Iron is the backbone of health. Do we have it's not a political thing, but do we have a national policy? Every day, everybody check your hemoglobin, find out, is it 15 gram per deciliter? Do we have a national policy like that? No, we don't. We talk about all sorts of, I don't agree with all this. If anybody's hemoglobin is 15 gram per deciliter, 90% of human illnesses will disappear. That's number one. What removes iron from the body? Please, very clearly, if you did not know, please know, it is tea. It's a very powerful chelating agent. If you drink tea, it will completely remove iron from your diet and from your body, and you'll become deficient. When a young mother comes and says, Doctor, Salpa, the Nunglike, I suppose only Kannada people here, Nunglike, when I swallow a little difficult, I have a throat pain. I've gone 2-3 doctors, and they said nothing, shine at all, nothing. I just catch the throat and push it from side to side. When that grating, crepitous sensation is not there, I'm so pained because I know there is a cancer inside the young mother's throat. Iron deficiency causes throat cancer. Let me make it very clear. Iron deficiency, when the hemoglobin comes down to about 10, 9, 8, it causes throat cancer. What is the throat cancer called? Post-cricoid malignancy. How many young mothers, 2-3 children, and ultimately she'll have throat cancer and die? What a tragedy and misery and suffering for young children when the mother dies. What a tragedy they go through. Do we have a national policy? Do we have some amount of national advertising medium? All mothers, check your hemoglobin, find out if it is. If it is less than 15, take the requisite. So number one, let me make it one thing very clear. Do not touch tea. Oh, the tea industry will be angry. Who cares? Go to hell. Do not touch tea because it will reduce iron in mothers. Number two, for children, it will reduce iron and prevent them from doing academically well. Iron is the backbone of scholastic achievement. If a child's iron is less, mother, doctor, so much they're not able to remove anything. I ask only one question. Do they drink tea? The answer is invariably yes. Number two, in rice, why is rice a staple? Because China fellows had nothing else to eat, so they started the rice business. And everybody rice becomes staple meal. Do you find animals eating rice as a major? You tell an elephant, cow, monkey, donkey, eat some rice, they will laugh at you. And on top of that, we mill the rice and remove all the husk. Rice contains phytates that will block iron. How can we unblock it? By adding a little lime. That's a brilliant idea. You go to a nice biryani paradise, and then first thing they'll give you is a little lime to squeeze on the rice. That's suppose we are supposed to do. But do we do that as a routine thing? Do we take a little citrus fruits to block the phytate and allow the iron? We don't do all that. So if you look at the iron of anybody, it will be about 10 or 11. How can you be optimally functioning in good health? When your iron is so low, you'll have tiredness, you'll have weakness, you'll have loss of hair, you'll feel so fatigued. Iron is the backbone of health. Do we address that? No, we don't address that. So therefore, make sure that your hemoglobin is 15 gram per deciliter. And the next is, so many people are dying of heart attack, heart block, heart disease, and it become business. I know, I hope there are no doctors here because it's a very difficult thing. But it is now such an age. I know at least in one center, there is what is called a graph meet. This month you have done 30 bypass. Next month your target is 40 bypass. You better do it. One young lady who came to me, she had a little breathlessness. She went to an hospital. I can't name the hospital. And the hospital, it's okay, ma. We'll just do a checkup, So anyway, you're covered by insurance. No. And when they check small blockage, they will put a stent. Half an hour. What is it? Anyway, you're covered by insurance. And they pushed her inside. Ultimately, the dead body came out. I was feeling so sad. I was so sad that this is the scenario there nowadays. Why? I asked a cardiologist and cardiac surgeon, sir, so many heart bypass you're doing, heart attacks you're doing. How many have high cholesterol? Hey, what you're talking, man? No cholesterol. Nobody has cholesterol. Then what is it? It's a big hoax. All the rubbish they did. Today, they have removed cholesterol from the dangerous list. Today, it's been removed. Cholesterol is no longer a risk. Then what is the matter? What is the matter? And earlier there was a cardiology conference, and they were saying, we don't know what is the matter. Please know very clearly, earlier you were having hand-milled red rice containing pyridoxine that prevents the endothelium from thickening and causing a block. Today, that is absolutely absent. Where do you get B complex in your diet? So consequently, if you're daily taking a B complex, please do every day because that B complex is not there in your diet. And inflammation that can be vastly reduced by fish oil. And if you take that, I guarantee you will not have a heart attack, you will not have a heart block, and you'll. One lady did that in America. For 3 years in her county, she gave this particular thing. 3 years, no heart attack, nothing. Everybody was healthy. What happened to her? She lost her job because she said, no, they said, no, you are not making business sense for us. We also have to survive. No, I was given a hospital run in Dubai. When I told the chairman, this is my idea to have a heart health program, he said, stop. If you are doing all this, how will my hospital be full? In fact, I'm so sorry that is the thing. But again, you'll be waiting to know. So I thought I'll rather write it here. What are the things that you have to take? Fold white MB contains, I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing in writing all this. I hope later maybe I'll delete all that. Fold white MB and fish oil, which is omega 3. I gave to my mother-in-law who had a 80% block. My niece's husband who had a 90% block. He was taken to Bangalore. There's a 90% block. We are only giving him 6 months to live. Take a decision. Anyhow, they came back and said like 5-6 lakhs it will cost whatever. It's okay. But I said, anyhow, you're giving me 1.5 months time. I gave them this, but I did not give them just one month. I said, take it twice a day. After all, it's not a drug, no. Twice a month, twice a day. 2 months later, when they went for a checkup, one came to Mangalore and went to a major hospital. They said, why did you come? There's no block, no nothing. They had chest pain, breathlessness, and exertion also. But later, when they checked up, the entire block had opened up. See the magic of medicine. That's how medicine is. But today we do it. So, based on this, with Madam Ruxana's and my good friend's help, we are shortly starting a what is called a heart health program. 100% guarantee that your heart will be healthy. It is so sad when my children were studying. Of course, when their colleagues, fathers had a heart attack and died. What a tragedy it is for the family, and suddenly it is a full stop. That is the end of the breadwinner. What great tragedy it is. But do we have a national policy on preventive health and maintaining heart health? Not that. So shortly we'll be starting it. Now, if you don't adopt that program, you're at risk because anything can happen at any minute. How much are we planning to charge? We decided at 550 rupees a year, but the rest of the test and what is required to maintain health will be your outlook. And that's how we'll be shortly starting. So these are the things that will absolutely ensure that you have a normal, healthy heart. But the problem is there are 3 or 4 major open heart cardiac centers. They will not have any business, I suppose. But I suppose God will make sure that something else will happen. Anyhow, that's how it is for the heart. And many teachers, of course, ultimately we are humans and we have a lot of problems in our personal lives. And they have a lot of family issues and they have anxiety and depression and this and that, so many things. And I looked at that's a great thing about Manipal because there in Manipal we were given classes in hypnosis. Hypnosis is an amazing thing because you are only 10% conscious. 90% of you is a subconscious mind which can be rewired any which way. So through I'm a certified master hypnotist, and anybody suffering from anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, no sleep doctor, absolutely. And I've hypnotized quite a few. And I said, by 11 o'clock, the moment you touch the bed, normal, good, 5 hours of good sleep you'll get. But after that, they say it's like a magic. 11 o'clock, we feel so drowsy. The moment we get onto the bed, good 5.5 hours of sleep. What a magic. How much of sleeping pills and sleeping drugs and so many things we tried. No, the body, human brain can be rewired. And when I tell you on the hypnosis that this will happen, it will happen. There are people who get terrible nightmares, and I'm frightened to go to sleep because I get these nightmares. That's all the working of the brain. And once I rewire, I say, no more nightmares. Stop it. Stop. Sometimes, children, especially night sleepwalking in the middle of the night, they'll close their eyes. They'll go to the main door, open the door, and walk out. How dangerous it is for small little houses. But the moment I say stop it, stops. What a magic it is, sleepwalking and stress and all this can be completely cured by hypnosis. Please know very clearly, earlier we used to give drugs for depression. Today, the science says it has no use whatsoever. Look at this girl. There was a major explosion. If you look on the internet, you'll find in Belgium, Antwerp, Belgium, major explosion, and in 5 girls were walking, all 4 died, 1 survived. And then she went into depression so bad, they kept on increasing the drug, 5-6 drugs a day. Later, she felt she can't bear it anymore, and she requested death. You see how sad it is? She requested death, and our 2 doctors signed for her, and they killed her, euthanized her. So, under hypnosis, she could have completely been reverted. How many patients with depression I have cured by hypnosis? No drugs, stop it. One day, one lady, my consultant said she can't live, so 2 or 3 drugs she's already taking. And I, under hypnosis, I said, stop it, stop all the drugs, be happy. If you can have endogenous depression, you can have endogenous happiness. Be happy, be happy. If you're depressed and stressed, not stressed, but distressed, it can hit your skin and terrible illness called psoriasis can develop. If you look at psoriasis 1 year back, there'll be terrible distress in their life. So no, for no reason, spend 1 minute in happiness. It will take care of so many things in your body. So that's about hypnosis. And of course, in that weekend, I have cured people from smoking, drinking, drugs, alcohol, and all sorts of children who are rude and ruthless towards parents and grandparents, students who don't touch the books. After that, they become what are called workaholic addicts, and people who don't, and at the rock bottom of school, once I rewind and say, you're going to be a good academic, and so today onwards, you're going to only be in studies. Suddenly, they have shot up and become rank holders. Unbelievable it is. Now, a little bit as teachers, many mothers have, because I run a memory center, many mothers come to me for your own children, I'm saying, and for the children whom you're teaching, I'm saying, mothers come and say, Doctor, nothing goes into the head. Well, if you want to build muscles, what do you want to take? You need to have protein. If you want to take build good bones, what should we have? Calcium is the backbone of bones. But if you want a good brain, like a computer, for a good brain, what is the brain made of? Fat. And from four fats, not it is ghee. That ghee is brain food. If you look at online Ayurvedics and all that ghee, and in Mangalore, I know I should not talk like this. There's a thing called the butter buddhiyappa, sharp or razor sharp and good and butter buddhi. What is the distinction? Morning, afternoon, evening, night, they give their children a little bit of ghee. Does it cause cholesterol? Does it cause nothing? It is brain food. So every day for your own children and for the children who are not doing well in school, having realized that many children who come to me for many reasons, suddenly they are increasing in academic. Many teachers in my hometown, the moment they find them not doing well in school, they ask the parents, they call the parents, say, go to that doctor. Suddenly the child will can have, once you activate the brain and give ghee every day, you will find that they cannot stop imbibing knowledge. They crave for knowledge and they will not put the book down. Number one, ghee. Second is avoid tea because it will completely block iron. If you find a child in your class or your own child is not doing well, make sure no tea, don't touch tea. Check the hemoglobin. If it is less than 15, advise a parent, go to a good family doctor and make sure that the hemoglobin is up to 15 grams per day. Avoid tea and make sure the iron content is good. But apart from that, today we know that long-term memory in the hippocampal area of the brain is pioneered by one mineral, and that's called zinc. If zinc is deficient, which today to an extent it is becoming, then a long term, you study everything today. Tomorrow, complete evaporate. Because long term memory is based on zinc, and make sure you get a zinc too. And what is the best food for children? Suppose they are malnourished and all that. The best food I find across all whatever is available in the market is a sprouted grains mix, and that is called manna for your own children and for advised parents who are sick. Maybe we should have a program for parents to advise manna, sprouted grain, 2 teaspoons in a glass of milk. They will really flourish and do extremely well. And a little bit about good karma, because sometimes it is not just the teaching, it's the extra hours I put in teaching. Somehow it will come back, because William Shakespeare said, the good that men do is oft interred with your bones. I disagree. The good that men do is oft interred with your bones. He said, means you're not going to get the whatever good you do is all gone. No, I disagree. Somebody makes an account and keeps it there and gives you at the most appropriate time. For example, I used to take tuition classes for an MBBS student in KMC. I was with the KMC group for about 18 years. From evening 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 3 months of exam time, keep on revising. After all, what do I lose? I have the entire teaching material. My mother, I think she would say, why don't you go commercial, charge something? No, it's okay. After all, everything is not money. I used to keep on revising. From nearly 50% failure, it went to 100% pass. Nearly 80% get a first class. Oh, it's such a nice pleasure and good thing. But later, when my children went to study British CA, it costs half a crore, 50 lakhs to go to Ireland and then do the British CA. Their company sponsored them. And both of them, it requires nearly about, see, how it came back. Whatever good you do in a little extra for a student who is struggling, God will bless you and bless your children too. When you do a lot of good, you are filling your spiritual bank. Why? To give the things money can't buy. What is it that money can't buy? Number one, a long profession career. Number two, normal healthy life. Number three, caring, good family. And number four, a standing in the society. These are things gifted to you by the good that you do. We had wonderful teachers who took a special interest if I'm not doing well. They'd go out of the way, make sure I'm a little better in that area, and then help me get on with my life. I really thank them from the bottom of the earth. Now, of course, many of them are already gone, but I really thank God for gifting me these wonderful teachers. And it is because of them I'm here. So I dedicate this talk to all the great teachers, especially a few of them who came in my life and helped me where I am. I need to name a few. Number one is my PUC teacher. I had a fantastic PUC physics teacher in Trichur called PC Thomas, and he helped me get 100 or 100 in physics in first year and second year. It is because of him I got in medicine. And later, when I got in medicine, ultimately what determines the teacher's excellence is how you talk, the intonations, talk, verbiage. And that was taught to me by my great medical medicine teacher called Professor B.M. Hegde. So I dedicate this particular lecture of mine to my two great teachers, Professor B.M. Hegde, Professor of Medicine, former Vice Chancellor Manipal, and Professor P.C. Thomas, who was the head of Physics Department of St. Thomas College. I am here because of them. And there's a whole lot of other things, but there's a few points that I would like to emphasize for teachers because they are the pillars of society. It is to them our gratitude should flow strong. And I thank you very much for this brief talk. I part. I'll finish off the second part so that we can have enough time. It's okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, why do we take a lecture class? In the kindergarten or first or second standard, we got to know how to read a text. But after that, we can read on our own. No. Why do we take a theory class, lecture class? No, we have to make the students understand. No. To a large extent, what I wrote in my text was what I independently studied. To a large extent, in my medical school, I went for theory class primarily for attendance. Statistics show not even 10% of students are able to recall 10% of what a teacher has taught, even 10 minutes after the class is over. So primarily we are all huddled into a classroom. The teacher will drone for about an hour's time, and then the teacher will presume that we have had. But at the end of it, we hardly know anything. Then we go back and then maybe we go for some tuition, and then evening we sit and study. No, the classroom should be so perfect that it should stop becoming a classroom. It should become a learning experience. Teachers should stop becoming teachers and become facilitators. So let us have a small little learning module. Let us a little bit of geography I picked up. Let us have a see. Lines of latitude circle Earth parallel to the equator. Like, in fact, when I take my class, I don't even talk. I just put this in the projector on a slide. I just ask the student, just look at it. One stem, one line. Don't keep on reading the text page by no. I have to finish the portions. No. At the end of it, what use? You have no. After a class, the students should be so thorough. Later, they should be straight be able to appear for exam. Lines of latitude circle Earth parallel to the equator. Now, after I keep this, then I switch it off, and then I will put a question. Lines of latitude circle the Earth parallel to the equator. Is it true or is it false? And they are forced to think. The moment they are forced to think like this fashion, the mind will absolutely not be it. Will be fixed onto my thing. So they have to say lines of light circle parallel. Is it true or false? Absolutely, it is true. My next lines of latitude circle the Earth dash to the equator. Is it vertical, perpendicular, parallel, horizontal? Of course, there is only one answer. That's why I put a dash there. And the answer is it runs parallel to the equator. Now, the equator is an imaginary line that lies halfway between the North and South Pole. Halfway. So the question is, The equator is a line that lies halfway. Is it? I should erase that. That lies what between the north and south pole is a line that lies. Is it vertical, horizontal, parallel, or imaginary? And we know the equator is a line that runs halfway in between horizontal. Equator is a line, imaginary line that lies halfway between the north and south pole. It is a line that lies horizontal, directly horizontally it grows between the north and south pole. It's an imaginary line that halfway between the north and south pole. Is it true or false? Absolutely true. And it runs east to west all the way around the earth. Is it true or false? Absolutely true. The lines of latitude are measured in degrees. They are measured in, after that, I fade off this line and then I put a question. It is measured how? How is it measured? Is it inches, centimeters, degrees, meters? And I pointedly I will ask one particular student. The batch does not know to whom the question will go. So everybody is attentive. It is measured in degrees. And the degrees may be broken down to smaller units. And now look at this smaller units called minutes and seconds. So once I efface it or once I delete that, then you're forced to think it are divided into smaller units. What are the small? Is it Fahrenheit? Is it minutes? Is it centigrade? Of course, it is divided into these degrees, divided into minutes. And lastly, the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle, now they surround the cold regions around the North and South Pole. So, is it true or false? I have rewritten with a slight twist. These are circles that surround the hot regions around the North and South Pole. True or false? Absolutely false, because it surrounds the cold regions. Now, a little bit of medicine. Let's have a look at medicine. Acoustic neuromas are tumors that develop from the sheath of Schwann cells. Then I will delete that. And then I put the stem question. But do you see the interactive way? Every single sentence is interactive. So they have no way of diverting their mind. They have no idea who will be asked a question. So what is it? Acoustic tumors that arise from what cell? Is it from the middle of the Schwann cell? Is it from the sheath? Is it from the connection? Is it from the bundle? It can be only one. If they make a mistake, I will go back to the stem and repeat that again. It is from the sheath of Schwann cells. And it developed from the sheath of Schwann cells. From the sheath of which cell? This is stem cell, Schwann cell, glial cell, fat cell. From the Schwann cell, because neuromarrow from the sheath of Schwann cells. Now, all this you are doing independently, but I said we should take it to the next. Artificial intelligence is coming in a big way. So as a consequence, now I have developed my own platform, and the platform is amazing. It's completely interactive and online, and it is automatic. And when I give the topic to the class, I don't do anything. My platform will descend from the sky where it is, I have stored it in a cloud, and then it will take whichever class I want. I do nothing. The entire class, you see, the whole class is busy focusing on my platform. Entire class takes a class. At the end of it, the machine will ask questions, and at the end of it, it will generate a certificate. I do nothing. Today, the role of teacher is almost becoming zero. You see that? I just do nothing. They are postgraduate, these are undergraduates. It is a machine which is turning. AI has come in a very big way. We are only to act as facilitators. It is time we stop teaching, because look at the end result. The students are far more thorough than how a teacher could. At the end of it, I find 100% of my students will have 100% of the knowledge more than 100 days after the class is over. So that's how good it has become. So let's have a look at review. Lines of latitude, and they encircle the Earth in vertical or horizontal. It is parallel to the equator. Now you see how thorough you are. Lines of latitude circle the Earth parallel to the equator. The equator is an imaginary line that lies midway between the North and South Pole. And lines of latitude are measured in what? In degrees. They are measured, and the degrees may be broken down into small units. They are measured in degrees, not in centigrade or Fahrenheit. And the smaller units are called minutes. And the Arctic and Antarctic Circle surround the hot regions, no, the cold regions. And acoustic neuromas are tumors that develop from what? The sheath of Schwann cells. You see, I didn't teach anything. You taught yourself. At the end of it, you're very clear that the equator is a horizontal line in between the North and South Pole, and the Arctic Circle and Antarctica are those that surround the cold thing, and the degrees, it is measured in degrees and broken down into minutes and seconds. And the Eckers theorem was arise from the sheath of Schwann cells. See how thorough you are. Later, 100 minutes, 100 days, I again question you on these things. You'll be thorough. There's no way that you can forget. And today, it's evolved in such a way that many of my topics, I don't know, when I just give the link, across India, faculties are asking me, please send me this topic title. I just, after sending it, they just send it to the batch from my cloud. The thing will descend, take the entire class, interact with them, ask questions. At the end of it, it will even generate a certificate. It's become that good. I've not announced it in the paper. Shortly, we will do that. And once we do that, it will just simply explode because, like AI has come in a big way. Many jobs are getting, will a teacher's job be lost? I don't know. I have not ruminated on these things. But these are the emerging things that are happening. These are the emerging knowledge that is happening. And so I'm really grateful to Rukhsana ma'am for giving me this opportunity. I hope I've opened a window to your mind. And of course, dozens of illnesses for which there is no cure as of now in planet Earth. I have a cure for, I don't have the time to discuss all that. I have a cure for migraine, vertigo, slimming, fattening, hair, this and that, and does so many things. Of course, I put in a lot of effort. Who are my greatest teachers? My failures. I fail, and ultimately I stumbled onto the exact treatment which is now possible. Be the best in the world. The world should come to you. That's how good you should be. You should be 100 years ahead of contemporary science, because otherwise, if you don't do that, faster, quicker, younger, brilliant minds will come and wipe you out of the business of medicine. Medicine has been declared a business first and a calling secondly. So the market force of business will operate. What is the market force? Offering the best possible service or product at the most reasonable price. So be very good, be humble, be straightforward, be kind, be generous, and do a little good karma. You'll have a long, good, cherished career. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Devan. I'm so sure many of the teachers were not aware about their own self, their own body, their own calcium, iron, how important it is. All this is important for us. I'm so sure all the teachers will take this session as a very important session, especially personally for them. Only if you are there, the world is there for you. Jaan hai to jahan hai. So, on behalf of all the teachers, I thank Dr. Devan for taking this brainstorming session. And officially, I would request Akashi to thank Dr. Devan. Akashi?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
I hope I've converted all of you to my fans.
Definitely, sir. So on behalf of everyone and the whole DTC team, sir, we all the participants, I really thank you, and it was really a wonderful session. And Rukhsana ma'am has been putting in efforts for all this whole team that we should focus on our health. And today you have literally talked on in detail about the deficiency which we generally face during our journey called life. And I believe that you have covered almost everything, sir, which we face while conducting our profession. And I really thank you for your insights. It was really nice, and I'm sure that each one of us who have joined you today in this webinar have learned a lot, and will definitely look forward that we will be able to follow the suggestions you gave us, and will be able to implement them and make ourselves more healthy. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Any questions before we close?
Okay. Now, teachers, if you have any questions, you can please unmute yourself and you can ask the question. It may be related to your family members about your health, or basically your health, or any of your students where you find the student is lethargic, lack of memory, lack of interest, any such thing, you can just ask any such question to Dr. Devan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your session. It is really very useful to us. because health is a wealth, we say. So it's really very important. I want to ask one question is like B complex. You said I do sometimes take this B complex. Is it good for our health or no?
No, I need to underline one word you said. You said you sometimes take B complex. I asked my chairman, so like this. He said, I've been taking that for the last 30 years of my life. Don't we take hand-built red rice earlier every day? We took B complex every day. Today, it is not that any day. You need to take complex every single day. But what you need to be careful of is the green leafy vegetable which has an overriding import. So B complex also must contain folate or folic acid. Folic acid, please know very clearly, will reduce homocysteine. The only test that you should do is not cholesterol, it is homocysteine. It should not be more than 15. The other day, this patient came, I take homocysteine to about 200. I said, death is waiting for you. Homocysteine is the one test which is not tested. So when you take folate and B complex, the homocysteine will come down to around 10 to 15. So please
Okay.
take B complex with folic acid every single day. It is water soluble. It will not accumulate and it will keep you healthy.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. I have a
Dr.
question.
I would like to introduce Janaki Nandik ma'am. She is also a specialist for AI. She teaches, she has her own program every Sundays. So, Janaki ma'am, please share your knowledge about this.
Somebody asked me a question, how to deal with a child who is lethargic. Now, please know, behavior today, earlier we thought this and that and a whole lot of things. Today we know this behavioral changes happen primarily from the difficulty in the gut. And that is a new science emerging called the microbiome. This lethargic child, are you giving a little bit of yogurt, probiotic every day? Such child will not be lethargic. You look at these yogurt, I should not again say butter buddhi, Brahman or something. Every day, a little bit of yogurt will keep them razor sharp and a little bit of ghee. In spite of all that, if the child has not got any motivating comments from the parent also must be a little positive, encourage and affirm. If the parent is negative and critical, the child will lose that morality. Never ever criticize a child. A critic is one who absolves himself of his irresponsibility projected onto those who are making effort. Never ever criticize a child. Always be positive, always praise. In spite of all that to the child, then hypnosis will dramatically alter it. But before you do hypnosis, there is something called smart music. Children who are a little bit lethargic, you feed them smart music is available online. They'll be so nice and wonderful. If I've done that for quite a lot. I mean, I started the first music therapy center in Mangalore. So smart, after all that, hypnosis will completely rewire the brain and make the child brilliant, active, focused, determined, disciplined, and fantastic.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank
where
you,
can we
Doctor.
get that music from?
You put smart music for lethargic or lazy children or hyperactive children, smart music for hyper. You can now download it from the internet. YouTube has tons of them. Earlier, I used to
Okay,
music
sir.
center. I went and I used to buy it from there. Musicologists, physicians, and psychologists got together to create that. Today, it's all available. It is amazing when you play the smart music. Suddenly, hyperactive children, how nice and calm and quiet they'll be. I've done that for high BP patients suffering from type A personality structure. The moment you listen to smart music, the hyperactive beta pattern comes into the alpha pattern. I'm talking the brain wave, and they become calm, composed, and suddenly the BP comes down. What an amount of effect these things have on the human brain, which is largely neglected.
So one last question, sir, I have. Sir, what can help the morning sickness? Like sometimes if we feel as a teachers, like in the school we are too much active, but once we are back home and sometimes waking up early, sometimes it becomes a struggle and sort of a morning sickness. So what can be the reason and what can be the
The
solution
only
for this?
please know again, morning sickness in normally or even otherwise for especially pregnant ladies, they will have sickness and all that. What is the back for everything? There's a very clear thing. What is the thing? Zinc. Your blood level things should be about 15 nanogram per deciliter. If you are deficient, you will have morning sickness and you will have loss of appetite and you will not be able to ingest and then all that. So zinc, any zinc, what is the richest source of zinc? Of course, we talk about oysters and we talk about all that. Earlier, tons of time and literature I had, they used to call me zinc man. And I had a huge file on zinc. Now my teachers are telling, see, those days, 30, 40 years back, you used to talk so much about zinc. Today, everything is coming with zinc of a Ziffer, Acifazet. There's so much. So the morning sickness, please know very clearly, is because of zinc deficiency. I repeat again, underline it. And if you're having that, take a little bit of zinc every day until it disappears. You will completely come out of it.
Thank you,
So
sir.
now-
Thank you so much.
So one more question. For the
I
knee
have
pains.
mastered
When-
nutrition, so therefore you can't touch me on nutrition. I am absolutely working encyclopedia on nutrition. So that is the backbone of human health. No.
Mm. So one question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So many teachers are suffering. You told me about the knee pain. Can you just suggest any tablet or something for that, sir? Like I want to know about that. Suddenly there'll be a turn in the knee bone.
First of
while
all,
walking.
please put your height and age on a Google thing. That will show you what should be your ideal weight. If the weight is too much and the knee can't bear it, and how can the knee expect to be remaining healthy? You can't bear that weight. Cut down on the weight. Number
Okay.
one. Number two, the knee is primarily made of bone and cartilage. For the bone, what do we require? Calcium. For the cartilage, what do we require? Ascorbate, that is vitamin C. Earlier, every meal we used to have some ascorbate or citric acid fruits, which is not there nowadays. The third thing, between the knee, if you put your two knuckles together, in between there is a space. So in between the knee, there is a lubricating joint. You see, in the car joint, the car people will nicely advertise, oh, for the car joints, please have nice, good, rich mineral oil. I asked my professor, is there any science looking at the knee joint lubricating fluid? That science is still dead. Oh God, no. Why don't you look at when if you look at a car joint and that mineral oil is low, when you go to the car doctor, the mineral oil kadame agide, elladre nimma joint erode agtade, you have to put mineral oil. For the knee joint, it requires ultra trace micronutrient mineral, not vitamins. And there is only one tablet containing only minerals. It's called Rickonia. And I give that to patients like a magic, it reverts. Your knee joint is very badly damaged. Ultimately, what will happen? And you have to replace the knee. And that is called knee replacement. 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs will cost. But please know, there is a new science emerging. You can make the knee joint regenerate and come back to normalcy. That's called the fifth element of healing. I do that. I've done that for quite a number of patients. And that intense magnetic pulses will regenerate any part of the damaged human body. It can repair itself back. How? By activating the stem cells, which are all lying dormant. It can any knee damaged knee joint. Please see a center that's doing it in Bangalore called Science Beyond Frontiers, far ahead of contemporary science. So many people who are advised knee joint replacement, they have gone to that center. The knee joint can regenerate back to normalcy. That's how. So you require calcium, magnesium, ascorbate, minerals, and still, if you're suffering, the first, of course, you have to cut down on weight, bring it to 10% of what is expected. And still, if you're suffering, the knee joint can be regenerated back to normalcy.
Thank you, sir.
And usually we see this thing in teachers that they have knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, and the vocal. You have to take care of this on a long run. So for all the teachers, I think this is the best advice.
I need to caution you that beware of asking many questions because a ton of knowledge will suddenly burst out. So much
You
of
are a
knowledge.
person with full of knowledge, so that's the problem. I think even 3 years is less.
Oh, and even whole night, I mean, till next morning also, it will go on and on. Somebody asked me,
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That's my
I
experience.
saw a question about somebody is asking something about hypnosis. How to get access to hypnosis for various treatments, as you mentioned during the session. Well, you have me here. No, I am a certified master hypnotist. But today I've gone to the people across India. They from Hyderabad, Bombay, Chennai. They come via WhatsApp video call hypnosis through my WhatsApp video call. It takes a few minutes because I've done so much of work. In a few minutes, you'll be under deep hypnotic trance, and all of that I can cure for you. Ruxana madam will tell me or guide me on how much I can charge because my BMW is waiting for me in the showroom last 10 years.
Yes, yes. Teachers, any other questions?
Sir, about thyroid
Somebody
issues,
asked,
sir, can you just
somebody is
tell
asking
something about thyroid?
thyroid. Thyroid is a
Yeah.
huge thing. You know, after surgery, it is so sad when after we leave a little bit of thyroid tissue there, and after 3 or 4 months, again that small tissue which we have left behind again will become large. Why is it? Because the body is not able to get the iodine for the thyroid to function. Why is it not able to get iodine? Tea will block all minerals. So if you're after thyroid surgery, if you're drinking tea, whatever iodine that you take will be blocked by tea. Again, the remaining thyroid also will increase. No, so don't touch tea at all. And somebody said pain, of course, myofascial pain by the neck. That's a different condition altogether. And we can fully, that itself is another topic. Of course, you can consult and I will promote you back. Somebody want to, what is that question, please? Some question was asked. What is that?
So I am asking about the treatment for cervical and the reasons. Though we take care of our postures while working on the systems and in the school, but
Yeah.
still that cervical comes above.
What comes about? Repeat that, please.
The cervical, the neck to shoulder pain, sir, and the swelling behind just below the head. Yeah.
Yes, that is called myofascial pain when the muscles get locked and then you
Okay.
get a terrible neck pain. That the science is yet to develop, but we have developed a treatment module. I'll just tell you the drugs which I give. I know some doctors might sort of find it funny and all that. Please know the two drugs that you can take: E-cod that contains vitamin E, as well as the fish cod liver oil, and B complex. If you take a combination with it, like a magic, it works. By about 48 hours to about 2 weeks, it's completely cured. But if you're suffering from calcium deficiency, I've seen too many teachers with their neck cervical vertebrae, they will start degenerating. I asked them, don't you drink tea? ಅಲ್ಲ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೊಡುದು ನಾವು ಅಂತ ಕುಡಿದ್ರು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರೆ. We drink some no. Please take care. You require nearly about 100 milligram or more about calcium. So unless you are actually replete with required calcium, your vertebrae will start degenerating and you will develop terrible neck pain. And then that vertebral problem will cause impinging on the nerve and you will develop a nerve pain called radiculopathy. But today under new medicine, seeing all that 100% it be cured.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thanks.
Sir, I would take your 2 minutes. One question from my side, if you allow me.
No,
So
I have
regarding this,
I have unlimited time. I am sitting here doing nothing.
okay, sir. Yeah, being a vegetarian, my father used to give when we were small. He used to give us cod liver oil on daily basis. So I just and after getting married and all, we just stopped it. So I just wanted to know, like, because this cod liver oil is deficient in whatever constituents are there. They cover up all the non-vegetarian aspects, right? So how good it is to whether we should take it daily on daily basis or how it should be consumption
See,
of cod liver oil tablets.
I get questions from patients across India. They say, sir, in that medical thing, I see a small, what is the green dot showing it is not vegetarian and we are pure vegetarians. Today morning, one fellow called me, Hyderabad, I am pure vegetarian. How can I go? I said, you try telling that to a lion, tiger, monkey, that you become pure vegetarian. They laugh at you. No, nature has designed it in such a way the human body requires proteins. And religion comes in the way and does a whole lot of mess. I know I have no religious or political leanings, but the human body requires few things. Number one. Number two, cod liver oil, please know it contains fish oil and vitamin vitamin E. That's a combination of vitamin E and fish oil. Don't I take, I mean, I'm from Kerala, pure pakka mallu, every day fish oil, when fish we eat. Don't we take fish every day? We do. Does it cause any harm? Absolutely not. But My neighbor's son came and he gave a big bowl full of prawns. Rich fellow, big one bowl, and 3 days he ate prawn. Fourth day he was in the ICU. Prawns, crabs, mussel containing high amount of continuously 3 days. If you take cholesterol, it will block up, and then next day he was in the ICU. Prawn, I repeat again, prawn, crab, mussel, don't touch it. Once in a way you can have. But what about cod liver oil? Vitamin E, A, D, E, K are fat soluble. After fat soluble, it cannot be excreted. It will remain in the system for 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, it will be there. Vitamin B complex and the C are water soluble. You take one today, tomorrow it's all gone. So vitamin E cod liver oil, if you start, about 6 months later, you start terrible skin itching because it accumulated in the blood. So therefore, don't take it continuously. Maybe you take it once a week or twice a thing. Don't take it like that. While fish oil, pure fish oil, you can take every single day. Number one, you'll be raised. Who are the ones who are taking fish every day? Bengalis and Malayalis. Both are brilliant, focused, sharp, a little cunning also maybe. Especially Malayalis, a little cunning maybe. But fish oil makes your brain razor sharp. And take that every day. And that is how good it is. But cod liver oil, don't take it because it contains vitamin E. It will accumulate. You cannot eject it. It will remain there in the system. That's how it is.
Okay. Sir, another thing, memory loss. There is, something is being told, and if I go in the other room, I forget it. I don't know why this is happening past 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, but the husband will be happy that you're forgetting all the past fights. It's a good thing that when you forget it, it's good. Otherwise, suddenly when you have an argument, all the past fights also the wife will start remembering. So in a way, it's a good thing. Yeah, in a way, it's a good thing. But if you're having memory loss, what is the basis of memory? What is memory from the brain? What is the memory constituent? Number one, ghee. Number two, if you're having deficiency of iron, whatever little you keep something there, you will forget it. So you may be having iron deficiency. The third, what happened yesterday, day for 3 days back? What is the basis of that? Zinc. Check your blood level of zinc. If it is low, then you're having zinc deficiency. But fourth thing, of course, today there's a terrible illness which is happening called Alzheimer's. And now we know it is stemming from the gut. If you're taking a little amount of yogurt, that is curds every day, then your gut health will be perfectly healthy. And many neurological diseases are found to be starting from the gut, including Parkinsonism, including amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, including Lou Gehrig. So many illnesses are starting from the gut. If your gut health is absolutely normal, neurological diseases will almost be absent. You go to America, how many people are suffering from neurological disease? Do you see that in India? No. Number one, we take ghee every day. Number two, many of us take a little curds. So largely neurological diseases are absent. We need to thank the Indian system for how we are.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
I am highly knowledgeable and I know it.
Truly said, sir. Sir, if you don't mind, one last question. Sir, one last question. I had called a counselor for my grade 10 students for the counseling session. So she had suggested the DMIT test, that is dermatoglyphics multiple intelligence test for the students. So, which is you must be knowing about it. It is a fingerprint pattern, study of fingerprint patterns. So is it, and she also advised that through those fingerprint patterns, you come to know like which stream and the child is good at which subject, or maybe he's a very artistic person or very good at accounts. So I was really in a dilemma whether it is really a truly tested method, DMIT test.
No, let me tell my take on this. Please know very clearly, because I have very minutely in great depth studied the science called pneumonology and I've seen it work. If a student has 1, 4 or 7 in their date of birth, they'll be very good with their hands and practical, extremely, especially 1 Wednesday, they'll be extraordinarily practical. 6 is a number of common sense. 9 is a number of science. 3 is a number of talkativeness. And 2, 5, and 8 are emotional numbers. Especially if a child has got fifth of any month or all that, they're very emotional. Please don't say anything negative, it will hurt their soul. And these are far greater of overriding import than anything else. Because I've been minutely following various aspects of human development, this fingerprint all this is absolute. No, I don't believe in all that. No, I have not seen a relevant pattern. What really matters is, you should not push a guy who does not have 1, 4, or 7 in their date of birth into a surgical discipline. You need to be really good with your hands in order to operate nicely and fantastically do surgical carving. You must not push a guy who does not have 2, 5, or 8, which are the emotional numbers, because they'll be absolutely have no empathy at all. I've seen students have no empathy. Sometimes, no empathy. You must have a little feeling for the patient, feel their feeling, and have a little empathy and sympathy, and have all that. So, therefore, but ultimately, you have a gut feeling. Students will have a gut feeling. This is my path. Please know very clearly what are the 5 regrets of the dying. One of the top 5 is, I wish I pursued a discipline dear to my heart than suggested by somebody. How many students come into medical school because their parents wanted them to be doctors? I have one fellow, he said, sir, my mother wanted me to be a doctor, only doctor in the family, but my heart is in music. Today he's a major background music player in Kannada films. So many students are forced into medicine because parents want a social pride and prestige. Oh, my son or daughter is doing medicine. Please don't do that. Anyway, at this point, the 5 other regrets are, I wish I had the courage to express my feeling. I wish I had chosen to be happy. I wish I had chosen to keep in touch with my friends. And I wish I had kept in touch with. So these are 5. Please see Bonnie Ware, who did the study, top 5 wishes of the dying. So therefore, don't, the student will have an inner gut feeling. My classmate Maksud, he was not interested in it. I mean, he was more interested in music. Ultimately, he became Lucky Ali, one of the biggest singers on earth. So if a gut feeling says the student has this desire, don't look at a fingerprint or don't look at force them into any discipline. Their gut feeling will say, this is where my future lies. What are the top 5 regrets of the dying? I wish I had chosen a discipline dear to my heart than what others had for me.
Thank you, Doctor. I think all the teachers
Thank you.
will agree with me. This is one of the sessions where teachers have so many questions for the resource person. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for being so
Thank
useful
you.
for
Thank
my
you so much,
teachers.
sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Truly
Thank you,
said,
sir.
Sana
Thanks
ma'am.
a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Janaki
Thank
ma'am
you,
is
ma'am,
there.
for giving.
I would like to request Janaki ma'am, Nandini ma'am, please tell us about your artificial intelligence teaching.
Dr. Devan sir, that is first lecture, if I'm right. Dr. Ruxana ma'am, sir only gave the first lecture, right?
Yes.
The very first lecture.
No, actually, the sir was there on the very first lecture, but it was just in general
Yeah.
introduction.
Lecture from
We took it as
Kerala,
a team.
doctor had given. I had attended that.
Yes, yes.
Okay. In that lecture, sir had mentioned that that is the root, that is by hearting, that is Vedas, how Rig Veda and all, how they are chanting. That
Exactly,
also
exactly.
the memory boost, if my memory is right. Am I right, doctor?
Yes, yes,
The
ma'am.
backbone of memory, the ancients realized the only way to have long-term eidetic memory, either the Gita, the Quran, the Testament, the Vedas, you have to by-heart it word to word without error. ZYX, WVU, TSR, QPO, NML, KJ, IH, ED, CBA is ABCD backwards because I by-hearted it.
Absolutely.
The way to remember.
After my mom's death, every day I'm chanting Bhagavad Gita only, sir.
Oh,
Whenever
yeah.
I chant, right, that is Evam Satata Yukta Ye Bhakta Swam Paryupasate Yecha
Yes.
Yaksharam Avyaktam. I remember your words because
Wonderful.
when Dr. Divan, when I put, okay, this doctor only had told this. I'm very happy. I had a good memory power after chanting Bhagavad Gita. I remember
See?
last year you gave the first lecture. Honestly, much gratitude and most obliged. Great knowledge transformation and that cancer awareness for the teachers. Because my mom, my grandmother, she died because of uterine cancer, breast cancer, total family cancer only.
No.
So
Please, I'll take 1 minute
it
of
is
your time.
touching
There
once.
is 1 minute of your time. There is a new science emerging called metabolic cure. Today, any cancer can be cured. by a new science which is emerging. By a new science that's called metabolic cure for cancer. Chemo, radio, surgery, no. You see, metabolic cure for cancer pioneered by Sir Fried and Walter Longo. How many patients are suffering? But today, a cancer can be cured by metabolic cure for cancer. So all your mother and grandmother, unnecessarily they suffered. So sad it is. Hello. I'm still.
Thank you so much for the excellent knowledge transformation. From the bottom of my heart, I thank Dr. Ruxana ma'am, Dr. Diwan sir, and all my fellow teachers for this wonderful session. There is each and every session something new we are all learning, and definitely we will implement this in our school. We will give the best learning outcome along with values, whatever yourself, Dr. Ruxana ma'am, and all giving. Definitely, we will give values to our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Ruxana ji.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful time.
Am I audible?
Yeah, very clear, loud and clear.
Yes. Once again, thank you, Dr. Devan, and thank you all the teachers. I think we'll end the session here. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much to everybody.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, welcome.